Hi everyone, my name is Alexei Litvino and I'm here to present you a new podcast about my journey as a founder of a startup, of a company, AMIA. We are building digital pediatric platform, all-in-one solution for parents to take care of the next generation, to help parents in taking care of the next generation. And I would like to share my personal experience in this. And also I'm doing it in English. It's not my native language, so sorry for mistakes and some inaccuracies in my pronunciation, but I'll try my best to formulate everything as precisely as possible and not to irritate your ears with my accent. The main goal of this podcast is to provide my honest thoughts, what's going on with me right now as a founder. It will be helpful, I think, first of all, for the people who would like to be entrepreneurs, who would like to build startup, and they are facing all those crazy emotions, internal instability or external. They're feeling vulnerable, as I did, especially in the past when we were only together and we were spending hundreds of hours and nothing were visible. I will try to do my best to provide clearest emotional picture on my perspective on this as a founder, to help you to build your own startups, to create your own products that will change the world for the better. So I'd like to share here the personal experience as a founder of a startup, and especially building something such complex as we are building it right now. And yes, I'm not alone in building and creation of this. I have a partner. His name is Mikita, and we are equal partners in this. He initially started the project. He initially found out that this childcare area is not occupied and not present in the market, and also it's something very helpful, even if we won't make a ton of money on this, we will still make this world a better place, help the parents in their stress, to relieve their stress of parenting. And he very soon, in a month, he presented this project to me. Initially, I said that I have too much work, but then I realized it's something I would like to try, and especially I'd like to try it with my friend, because we knew each other at that point for 17 years since school. And that's think about it, it's crazy. I'm 27 years old and 17 of them I know Mick. And it's just 10 years of my life. I didn't know him. It's more than half of my life. It's 2/3. And I thought I wanted to try to build something with him. I had an experience, honestly, building the startups. I had a lot of trials. I also gathered the teams in the past. I knew my own biases in this area. I also working with a psychologist on regular basis, on weekly basis, and I'm getting to know myself. And I also formulated the statement that the startup is a representation of founder's psyche. So the founder's psychological issues and traumas influence the startup structure, because the startup is a direct product of a founder's approach and ultimately psyche. The internal mechanisms will be represented in the project in such complex entity as a company. So I knew that I found out empirically that statement because my previous startups were failing just because of my perfectionism, sometimes it was fear, etc. So there were clearly my personal issues, the things I did not overcome in my day-to-day life, and I directly brought them into my businesses. This time I realized I have to make it not even better, not even knowing my biases, but also bringing something completely new, I realized I'd like to do it with someone who is equal to me by the power within the organization I'm building. So maybe I'm trying to formulate it in simple terms. The person that will be my partner, not my employee, not the person I invited, even though not employee, co-founder, but I wanted to have the equal co-founder. So that's why I agreed with Mick to try working on this. And we started in, I believe it was March of 2023. It's been 9 months since we started, and we already have 6 people working with us. I don't like calling myself CTO because I think the CTO is a role, and it's hard to call yourself CTO if you have only 3 engineers, including yourself. I'm just a co-founder with a technical background, strong technical background, plus doing the technical stuff alongside other important things. And this is what I would like to uncover in this podcast as well. Because there are a lot of stuff I'm doing, what I think I have to do. I have a strong background in computer science. I've been working as a software engineer for 10 years. And we have, as I mentioned, 6 people right now. 3 of them, including me, are engineers. One of them is clearly stronger than me as an engineer. This is like a whole separate topic, how I still managing to help him to implement his full potential into our product and give him support. And still, I understand that this is a complex thing, because when you realize that someone is clearly better than you in something, like in this situation, I think that will be like a whole episode. So how to manage people who are better than you in the field. This is very hard for a narcissistic person, as I am. So we have 6 people: designer, pediatrician, and she is a Gestalt psychotherapy consultant. She's conducting the heart studies, and I'm not sure I'm allowed to say more, but she's doing some crazy stuff. The designer that I mentioned, he is also a very nice guy. I've been working with him for last, I think, 4 years on different startups in parallel to my work. This is one clear thing that I didn't mention that's very important. I'm working full-time 8 months on the project. I was laid off by Lyft in April 2023 because of the layoffs. That's it. So basically, I think I wasn't good as an employee. It was quite hard for me. I was a completely different person than now. I also maybe will uncover this. But that was like a very interesting, hard, eye-opening experience to me. It's still, I think this is still hard emotionally for me to speak about it, because this was a traumatic experience. I was the only one laid off from our team, engineering team of 14 people. And this was the same day I signed the contract for another apartment that was much more expensive. I didn't see that coming. And that was a hard thing. So I got laid off. The same morning I signed the contract with another apartment. And this was a stressful situation, but nevertheless, I had this startup, and I've been working on this in parallel to my work. And honestly, I didn't work much on the startup, but after I was laid off, I could fully immerse myself into this project. And I think if I didn't make it, I'm not sure we would have this the same state as now. For sure we would not. Because now we have almost completed MVP, our vision shaped because of my full-time presence. I learned how to work a lot more than I used to. This is a whole separate topic. I had a lot of ups and downs during that period, because when you're working like 8 months or without employment, without any income, I started spending less time, much less money, and this is another topic as well. So I have a lot to talk about, honestly. So in short, now we have almost completed MVP of our first part of our application. That is on itself is a standalone application that we can publish in App Store and just develop it further. But we decided to, as I mentioned at the beginning, create full all-in-one solution, digital pediatric clinics that will help parents like end to end. And this is very difficult. It's like building a couple of services, apps in one with these limited resources, because I'm the only one who is working full-time. Other guys and girls are working just like part-time, some spare time that they have after their work or during their vacations, weekends, and that's crazy. I'm not sure I would be able to do that, honestly, but they are managing to do that. That's fantastic. And also, we are not paying anyone. So we just have our goals to vision. That is like also my work to provide that clear vision to people working with us, what we're doing. And we are doing because it's very helpful to the world. We're not paid for that. We're just building it ourselves. Our own time is their main resource, and we are shaping it together, helping the world. For sure, we did not release the product yet, but we are going to do that. And now it's like November 25th. We are planning to release our MVP at the beginning of December or middle of December. I strongly believe it will be till the end of the year. That would be awesome, because what we are doing right now is already better than all the other apps. The first part I didn't mention it as well because it's a ton of information. So we're building Child Development Tracker. It's our first part of AMIA platform. So Child Development Tracker represents, it's like a to-do list for the parent that represents a list of tasks parent or caretaker have to do each day in order for their child to grow as a healthy individual. Healthy in psychological, physical, socially adapted individual. We found out these from the scientific researches. This is where we are taking information, and we aligned it in data structure for technical point of view to be able to load it in a universal format into database, into our application. And we are understanding where child is right now, and then we are guiding the parent by this development of their child from their current age till the end of the period that our app provides. So currently we're thinking about 6 years, but probably it will be expanded further. I mentioned that we are better than any other app in this regard, because they're just calculating the age and thinking that, okay, it's 2 years, then the child have to have these processes, and that's it. They are not thinking that there can be some delays or child can go ahead of a schedule in some areas, because everyone is unique and they are not doing it. And we realized, we didn't think that it's so hard to adapt those processes dynamically based on what child is doing right now. So we are dynamically adapting it. And this is very hard because there are a lot of processes. Those are interconnected. Some of them go strictly after another. So process B goes after process A, and process B influences process C, and they are in different characteristics of a child. So this is very complex. And we also had to create a list of verification steps to understand what processes are ongoing, which ones are completed, which ones are not started yet. In the simple terms, understand where child is and then follow it. During this guidance, periodically check whether some process started, whether they completed, and so that as we have like average data of norms about process, we also can detect delays and help parents to address them via actions. So as I mentioned, child development tracker looks like a to-do list for the parent, the actions they have to make each day. It looks so simple from UI perspective. That's like, it's a magic. It's super easy for parent, but in the background, there is a ton of algorithms and ton of data processing, ton of decision making based on rules and scientific data. It's crazy hard. Even after working at Lyft, it's a hard technical company. I did not make nothing even closely algorithmically complex than what we've created here, even for MVP, because we just wanted to have it for ourselves. I wouldn't want if I have such an application, I would not like it to take into account only the age of my child, because everyone is unique. Some children may have some delays in cognitive process, some going ahead of a schedule on physical and etc. But so how will the app basically help me if it's not understanding what's going on with the child right now? So this is like basic stuff. Please adapt to what's actually happening. Yes, ask me some questions if needed. I can help you to guide me better, but do this to me. Do your purpose. And it's me like a parent, and this is like simple thing, right? But the actual apps, those are stored right now. They're not given it. No app, as of to my knowledge at this moment, they are not adapting to your individual child's processes and what's actually happening to them. It's crazy, but it's like it is. It was very complex to code that, actually, because it's very hard from algorithmic perspective, but I think that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of nice product, because from user perspective, it's super simple to-do list. But from technical perspective, under the hood, that's crazy. We had like our initial algorithm in the Google Docs that we outlined was like 5 lists, completion and start of the process for the child. I had like 5 lists of points, different edge cases. Can you imagine that? It's like 12 font, 5 lists. In lines of code, we're using Kotlin right now on the backend. I will also expand on this in the future episodes. So on lines of code, it was 10,000. Can you imagine that? 10,000 lines of code, only the algorithm, different parts of it, like methods, calls to database, yes, also included, other stuff like decision, calculation, some things, some data structures, we had to invent our own sorting of them, just like sorting for our purposes of them and merging them together into a single simple list for the parents. That's crazy. And we developed it. We developed it with this person that technically more brilliant than me. I consider myself as a good developer, but he's like outstanding one. I think he could easily pass L6 to Google or any other FANG company, big tech company. I have a lot of stuff about the vision, what we're building, but I think it's not for this episode. So thank you very much for listening. I hope that was informative to you. I hope I didn't bother you with all the details, but I tried to be as short as possible in this. I left a lot of topics for the next episodes. So that was a pilot one. Thank you for listening.